world. Google's opposition to censorship in China and threats of leaving the country are creating challenges for U.S. and other foreign companies trying to do business there. China recently announced no companies, foreign or domestic, are above Chinese law. Joining me now to discuss what this could mean for U.S.-China trade relations is Philip de Leon, president of Trade Connections International. Philip, thank you so much for joining us. Is it possible with this news that we're on the heels of a trade war between the U.S. and China?
I wouldn't use a trade war as the key word, but I would use maybe refocus. And if there was a trade war, the Secretary of Commerce, Gary Locke, just made a speech, and he announced that he was going to take a trade mission to China. So if there was a war, he would certainly not invite companies to come with him. And second, if there were a trade war, it would not come from the Secretary of Commerce. It would be voiced by the State Department or the U.S. Trade Representative, which is an office that is under the executive office of the President. So trade war, no, but focusing better on issues.
So what does this mean for companies in China, for U.S. companies that are there now?
Well, the Google thing is a sort of a reminder that the U.S. will not let bad things happen to companies. The underlying idea is that if the Secretary is taking a mission, it's going to be a mission on clean energy and energy efficiency. And the Chinese just changed a rule saying that there must be intellectual property content, Chinese content, if you want to bid for procurement government contract. And it's a market of $85 billion, which the U.S. could be excluded from. So the Google was sort of an entryway. But it is also something that is very important to the U.S., which is free speech, exchange of information, and pressure on U.S. companies, and that's not very conducive to business. So you have to bang on the table with the Chinese once in a while, and usually the Chinese react by being offended, complaining, saying that it should, you should respect, as you said, the Chinese law, and then they move on after a while.
Which happened in this case. So do you think this is just lip service and the Chinese are just going to move on and it's going to go back to business as usual?
Well, it's hard to tell because there's also sometimes efforts to promote Chinese companies. There is a competitor to Google, which is Baidu, which is also a search engine, and that could be a way of letting it in. And you have other examples, like Danone was in China and, what left the country last year pretty much, or more or less left the beverage industry after its local partner sort of took over the business. So, we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Okay, well, you mentioned the dollars and cents of it. Obviously, U.S. companies have a lot to lose in terms of cash by pulling out of China. But what would China have to lose with U.S. companies pulling out? And other foreign companies as well.
They need foreign expertise. They have tremendous needs. They are catching up very fast, but they need expertise, which is technology. They want technology transfer, or they want to be associated with certain technology. There is also more than technology. They also need to understand processes, how to do things, how to get things done. They don't always master all of this. We've had companies working in a capitalist way for a long time. They are still learning, and they need our input. If we leave, they're not going to be as competitive as Western companies. And, they have ambitions. They have plans. They have grandiose plans. They want to build cars and export to the U.S. They want to build fast trains. They want to build jetliners, etc. So they can't do it alone. And, of course, they could try, but it would take them way longer than if they have some sort of collaboration with us.
Quickly, who do you think would have more to lose if there was a fallout from all of this and businesses pulled out? The foreign companies in the U.S. that are having businesses in China, or China losing those businesses?
Well, it's probably us, as always. Because we import so much from China that all of a sudden we would, not have access to cheap goods. And everybody's quite happy here to have cheap goods. Everybody complains it comes from China, but everybody is happy to pay less. So I think we would lose in the beginning. But on the other hand, when you have a conflict with a country, it's a way to try to find other partners. And in emerging countries, Vietnam, where a lot of manufacturing is going to.
And really quickly, I just want to get to this. A big announcement in the last 24 hours where the Obama administration says the U.S. will sell more than $6 billion in weapons to Taiwan. Is this to punish China?
It's the usual game. It's usually you pull it out of your folder. It's like, okay, what annoys the Chinese? And Taiwan is usually the easy card to play when the Chinese do something we don't like.
There you go. The U.S. playing a game of cards with the Chinese. Thanks so much for weighing in.
Thank you.